really important that people renting the block understand that if you may live a long way away from the door, be respectful of when you're entering in and out the block, because that does have an effect on the immediate neighbours to that particular gate or door entry system.
Because if you slam the communal doors, it will disturb residents. At the same time, when you have such a new property, we don't want to misuse and cause breakage to the structure of the building and the communal doors as well.
It really is important that when people buzz the system and say, "Can you let me in?" ask who it is. Yeah, you don't have to let them in. You're in an anomaly of your own particular property.
They should know who they are letting in into their properties, because inadvertently they may let in someone who may cause harm to the residents and their property.
Most of our properties are quite old. Yeah, we've got some new build properties, but most of our estates are stuff that were built in the 60s, 50s, 40s and 30s. And noise insulation standards were much, much lower than you would expect of a new build property today. In terms of those particular properties, people have got to be very careful, yeah, in terms of what the noise in their particular home is doing to anyone around them.
Because noise impacts a lot, especially in the older flats, because we don't have the sort of insulation that the new homes have, unfortunately. So it's important not to slam communal doors and play loud music.
Loud televisions, loud music is a big issue for neighbours. Most of our properties are either flats or masonettes. The big issue is people who've been laying down laminate flooring. Carpets throughout properties deadened a lot of noise, and we have a big issue if people have laid down laminate flooring. People cannot lay down laminate flooring without THCH's permission, because we want to go around and inspect the insulation you put in under laminate flooring. There's nothing wrong with laminate flooring if you've got the correct insulation levels about underneath, and if you don't, you're going to cause a problem for your neighbours. Traditionally in the East End, there's been an abhorrence against spitting because of older residents will recall that was the advice about fighting TB when TB was rife in and around and after the Second World War. Whether that advice is true or not, that's caused a particular problem because it's an issue that's unpleasant. Yeah, people don't like it. It's our staff who've got to clear up after it, and if our staff have to come out after hours to clear that up, that's going to result in higher bills for residents in the future. You know, and that's the kind of thing that we need to stop.
We even have put up signs in some of our blocks to let our residents know that they shouldn't be spitting on our communal areas.
I don't smoke. Well, it's much healthier if none of us smoked, but as people do smoke, you have to respect that they do want to smoke, but it's better if they don't do it in the communal areas.
Well, the law says there is no smoking in communal areas. There's signs in all our lifts, there's signs in all our blocks. We've got to ensure that people are adhering to the law, not just because it's the law, but because it causes a smell within the blocks and causes a particular mess when people drop their doggins on the floor.
Anything which causes noise and nuisance or which interferes with the peaceful existence of residents is classified as antisocial behavior. So we encourage and advise our residents to report any antisocial behavior in relation to their dwellings and where they live. And normally we follow it up. We work in conjunction with the Safer Neighbourhood team, who also patrol our blocks and try to enforce the antisocial behavior rules of the government. So we are very strict with antisocial behavior cases. I mean, usually if residents are living on the ground floor flats or in houses, we would allow dogs, and we advise residents to look after their dogs and make sure that the dogs don't foul. Obviously, that's also an antisocial behavior offense for residents to allow their dogs to foul in our communal areas.
Bulk rubbish is the big issue. It seems that to me that everyone in town Hamlets gets a new bed every fortnight, with the amount of dumped mattresses I see, not just on THCH estates, I see elsewhere. We've got the advantage of having a borough that actually collects it for free. We've got to really reiterate to people that you've got to ring the borough up, they'll come round and collect it. We don't want bulk rubbish dumped on the estates because that naturally could catch fire, let alone it causing a particular nuisance. We wasted over £50,000 last year on removing bulk rubbish from our estates. That charge goes directly back to our tenants and leaseholders, and it's the decent tenants and leaseholders who use the free service, yeah, that are having to pay their share of that particular charge. That is £50,000 wasted. You think what we could do with that £50,000 in terms of additional community events that we could hold at our community facilities. THCH has got a recycling strategy to work with the borough on increasing the level of recycling, and it's been successful. We've got to work with the borough to increase the recycling rates for the sake of the future of the planet. Every resident's got our recycling leaflets. Each of our offices offer out the pink sacks that the borough have got for recycling.
All residents, when they sign up, receive, along with their tenancy agreements, their tenancy conditions, and one of which states that residents are responsible for their children and their visitors. Say, for example, if a resident or a child causes antisocial behavior or dumps rubbish in the communal areas, then they are responsible, not the visitor or the child.
What immortal hand or eye could frame the fearful symmetry? And again.
THCH, we've developed a number of different community facilities over the years. We've got some larger community centres in the areas, but also got some small community centres that are offering a fantastic range of services for residents, whether that be from pensioners groups, homework clubs, youth clubs, or specific areas. So, for example, we've had a number of youth activities around theatre. We had a great drumming course over in the Robert Sutton House. Very noisy, but it was great when all the residents were sitting in the courtyard and everyone could see that happening. So, same company also did an event on the Chicksound estate with the children on poetry. We worked with Leyton Orient as well, as a Millwall fan. You know, whether that's the right thing to do, but we do work with Leyton Orient, who have a fantastic range of activities for kids in the summer holidays.
I present you new star.
Samira! Samira! Oh, congratulations! Hey! ¿Cómo se llama?
Our Hop Festival event is one of the most popular ones of the year. Got great coverage in the press every year, but also great coverage by people talking about it locally. EastEnders, in their tens of thousands, went hop picking every September to basically to earn some money to pay for their winter clothing. From the time those EastEnders moved into the East End at part of the Industrial Revolution up to the 60s. So it's a great memory for EastEnders. And that's when we come up with the idea of not just having an hop festival, we actually grow hops in Stepney. An unusual thing, I know, but it's been very successful. It's always the highlight of the year. And the great thing about it, it's bringing people forward every year, giving us more and more photographs of people and their time hop picking down in Kent.